Hey guys, I'm the Comics Kid 2099. I wasn't originally planning on doing a video today, and then my sister gave me an idea, so here I am talking about this idea. I wanted to talk about how you watch a movie, specifically if it's a really long movie and you get multiple versions of it. There's two different things that I'm going to be talking about here. One of them is a movie called The Watchmen. I've only seen this movie once, and in case you didn't see it, this is the director's cut. This is the only version of the movie that I have seen. Now, I've read the Watchmen book probably 5 or 6 times, and watching that movie, before watching that movie actually, I didn't think that it could be made. I was one of the people who just didn't think that that movie could be made, and I know a lot of people really don't like the movie. I kind of respect some of the reasons that I have heard for people saying that they don't like the movie. I myself, I don't think it's the best movie in the world, but I do think it is a pretty good adaptation of an existing work. I have seen a few scenes from the theatrical cut, which is, if I'm not mistaken, about an hour shorter than this version. This one, I think, clocks in at about 3 hours. The theatrical cut is about an hour short. So there is a lot of footage in the director's cut that did not make it into the theatrical cut. Watching those scenes from the theatrical cut, and bear in mind I have not seen the whole thing, just bits and pieces, I was watching those scenes and I was saying, wow, I cannot imagine watching this as the version of the movie. If I ever have an inclination to watch the movie again, it's going to be this version right here. Largely because when I think of the Watchmen story, I want as much of the original text to be in the story. Now, I'm not a purist by any means. I've said that before, and in fact, I've said off of this channel, off the record, if you will, I have said there's at least one thing that I think the movie does better than the book. I'm not here to talk about that necessarily, so I'm not saying that I am a purist. I just want to make sure that is gotten across. But I do think sometimes you have something like this. I don't think that a 2-hour version of The Watchmen as a movie would have really worked. I know that there was a version, it was the theatrical version, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who have that version and they consider that to be the version. And they are not even interested in the director's cut or the other cut, the one that also includes the animated feature Tales of the Black Freighter. I haven't seen that version because that one clocks in at like 4 hours, and I just don't think I need to see a 4-hour movie. I think at some point a line has to be drawn. But anyway, what got me to thinking about this was last night, as I record this, it was last night, me and my family, we were watching the Lord of the Rings movie. Specifically, we were watching the extended cut, I guess. Here we go. Yeah. The extended cut of the Fellowship of the Ring. This movie is so long, it's like 3.5 hours long. They have actually divided up the extended cut into 2 parts. So we watched like an hour and a half of movie last night, and that was only half of the extended cut. Watching this, I had seen the original Lord of the Rings movies. That would be these right here, the theatrical cuts. I had seen these a few times, maybe 3 or 4 times per movie, roughly, probably about 3. Watching the extended cut last night, I realized I was really okay having never seen the extended cut before. I only saw, of course, half of the first movie, so we still have a lot of movie to watch before we watch the entire extended cut of all 3 movies. But I don't think there is a single thing that was in the half of the extended cut of The Fellowship of the Ring that needed to be in that movie that wasn't already in this one right here. I don't think there was a single thing in the extended cut that had to be there. I feel like a lot of the extended cut that wasn't in the original theatrical cut, if you will, I feel like a lot of that was just kind of excessive. And when I was watching it last night, I was saying, yeah, they were right to cut this, they were right to cut that. I don't think there was anything that was in that where I said they should have left that in the movie that we actually got. For example, we get a much longer introduction to Bilbo Baggins in the movie that is extended. We see him writing his stuff down in the There and Back Again book that he's writing. Personally, I think it's a better introduction to Bilbo if we don't see him until Gandalf knocks on the door and he says, "Go away, I don't want any more solicitors." I think that's a better version of the introduction of Bilbo. I don't like the version where we see him writing stuff down and then later we see him talking to Gandalf. Again, it's one of those things where with the Watchmen, I would much rather have the 3-hour movie that has a lot of stuff that other people probably think doesn't really serve the story, but I know it as being crucial to the original text, so I want that in the movie. But then with The Lord of the Rings, I never read the books, so I wasn't especially connected to the original text. So for me, I want something that's a little closer to this, maybe even something that's even more cut down than these movies. Since the theatrical cuts, those were about 3 hours each anyway, I would personally rather have them even be cut down a little bit more. But what I'm saying is, I definitely don't need the extended cut of The Lord of the Rings, where we have an additional 30 minutes of stuff that's usually just an extra line of dialogue here, or a very brief 2-minute scene that doesn't really add anything as far as character development or story development. It's just there because it was in the book, for the most part. Now, I'm just saying that as someone who's heard what's in the book. Of course, like I said, I haven't read the book. I'm very curious what you guys have to think about this. Maybe this isn't even a topic worth sharing with you guys. I don't know. Maybe you guys won't care at all. Maybe you guys will have lots to say. If you do, please comment on this video. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think that the theatrical cut of The Watchmen is far superior? And do you think that the extended cut of The Lord of the Rings is far superior? Let me know in the comments below. I hope that you guys liked this video. If you did, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will be back tomorrow with an entirely different kind of video. So I will see you guys then. Have a great day.